Hi, Coach Joe Lucas, and welcome to the Magellan Network Show. For nearly 30 years, I've been focused on helping advisors become the best both personally and professionally. This show is dedicated to sharing with you tools, tips, strategies, distinctions, things that are working now. I'd love for you to take a moment, and if you're watching this on YouTube, click the like button and also the subscribe button so you get automatic updates. And if you happen to be listening to us on a podcast, make sure you're subscribed to the podcast and you leave a positive review for us. Now, with that said, let's get to today's episode. Hi, it's your Coach Joe Lucas, and welcome to this episode of the Magellan Network Show. In this episode, we are going to do part 2 of how to go ahead and rockstar your daily game plan. Now, in part 1, we talk more global, right? The types of days we have, energy management, pieces like that. This episode, we're going to get very nuts and bolts. I'm going to give you some very sound strategies on not to get distracted, how to manage workflow, how to manage calendars, right? So you don't get over your skis, you don't get overwhelmed, which a lot of advisors do. So let's jump right in. So first thing is that, we got to make sure that we do a powerful morning success ritual. So the daily game plan, if you think about it, when does your day start? When does a typical business day start? Most advisors would say, well, when I'm at my desk or when I hit my office. And the answer to that is no. The real answer is it starts when you are conscious first thing in the morning. I did a 2-part earlier this year on how to create a powerful morning success ritual. So we're not going to go over that today in detail, but I will say it's the first part of your daily game plan. So it's about preparation. If you're showing up in your office trying to figure out what the heck you're going to do, it's too late. So part 1 is have we executed our 8-step morning success ritual. Now, if you think about it, there are a couple of core things that a typical advisor has to do. And I also want to be very clear, there are a lot of iterations here, right? So if you're a solopreneur, like you're the lead advisor or run a solo type practice, your tasking is going to be different than somebody running a $3 or $4 billion high level wealth management team. It just will be, right? So I'm going to try to address both in what I'll call basics, okay? So basic number 1 is time is not really relevant in our day. It's because you don't get paid that way in most cases. So I've had advisors for decades talk to me about, I'm going to track my time. I'm going to see what I do all the time. I said, well, I know what you're going to do. You're going to spend all your day tracking your day. It's not going to lead to anything meaningful. This is all about output. So what are the outputs most advisors have? There are 3 core outputs. Number 1, communication. We are in the people business. So how many clients you talk to, reach out for, how many COIs you reach out for, how many prospects you reach out for. Now, when I say reaching out for, it doesn't matter in today's environment, the modality. So whether you're calling somebody, texting somebody, emailing somebody, messaging them on a social app, doesn't matter. It's how many contacts, outbounds, are we going to do in a given day. Now, I don't know your business, so I'm going to put myself in the frame of I was speaking in front of an audience of a couple hundred advisors, and I would say, globally speaking, if a typical advisor can do between 10 and 15 contacts per day, all modalities, right? That would, in my mind, feel pretty good around the contacts. So that's deliverable, number 1, 10 to 15 contacts. The second thing, if you think about it, again, typically, is in order to have a meeting, right, whether it's a review meeting, a meeting with a COI, a business development meeting, prospect meeting, that meeting has to get set first. Set it, have it, right? They don't just show up randomly. So typically, we like to see 2 to 3 meetings set per day. Review meetings, COI meetings. And when I say meetings, again, modality-wise, we're not talking about in the office. It could be in the office. It could be live, if you will, right, face-to-face. It could be virtual, i.e. Zoom, or it could be a telephone conversation. They all qualify as a meeting as far as we're concerned. That is core deliverable number 2. The third core deliverable of a typical day is going to be what we like to call RIs, referral and introduction conversation. Now, what is an RI combo? It is basically a reminder to clients, to centers of influence, that we are here as a resource for friends, family, colleagues, and coworkers, retirement planning wise, financial planning, money, markets, whatever, right? Whatever you want to put on it. We have found, and this is not some hypothetical, my clients track this. In order to produce a referral / introduction, by the way, means the same thing, is that we need awareness. It's not about, going to a client and demanding, hey, can you think of 2 or 3 people, or even worse, hey, I'm expanding my business. Nobody cares. This is about positioning ourselves as an expert / resource. So how many times in a typical business day, as a minimum, are you willing to go ahead and remind your clients, your center of influence, that you're here as a resource for friends, family, colleagues, and coworkers? We like to, if we're doing 10 to 15 contacts a day, right, 10 to 15, and having meetings, right, is it unreasonable to think that 3 to 5 times per day, we could just put a nice little gentle reminder out there in real time? A tagline on the bottom of your signature line does not count as one of these. Just remind them that we're here as a resource, and that's it, 3 to 5 times. So I've got the morning ritual, contacts, meeting set, intro convo / RIs. There's 4. There's a 5th one. What's the 5th one? Before you end your day, you track it all. You track your daily KPIs. I mean, these 5 things, I call it the one-hand daily game plan. Morning, contacts, meeting set, intro convos, track it all. 5 things. This is 80% of the typical game for a typical financial advisor. 5 things. Okay. A lot of times we make it more complicated than that. There are consultants that will talk about time blocks and workflows, and okay, fine. But at the end of the day, if you don't master the 5 core principles here, these 5 deliverables every day, it's irrelevant. It's totally irrelevant. Okay. So this is the nuts and bolts. Now, I don't care what time you start the game. I don't care what time you end the game, with the caveat. A lot of you have this incredibly bad habit that says this. Well, I'm going to get up at X. I'm going to do what I do in the morning. Hopefully you're going to follow our protocols. And then I'm going to get to the office, let's say 8 o'clock. Or, again, get to the office. You could be going up a flight of stairs. Who knows these days. And I'm going to rock it out till 4 or 5 o'clock, right? That's what I'm going to do. And so when our minds, think about this, when our brain goes, hey, we're here for 8 hours, you get into the I'll do it later, I'll do it after lunch, I'll do it in the afternoon, I'll do it after this, versus saying, hey, you know what, here are the 15 contacts I've got to do, here are the 3 or 4 meetings I need to schedule, here are the 2 meetings I need to do, right? So we're going to actually be doing meetings, right? I'm going to make sure I rock out my 3 to 5 intro combos a day, and when I'm done today. And you reward excellence. So if you're done at 3 o'clock, get out. If you're done at 2 o'clock, get out, right? Why are you punishing yourself shopkeeping? Well, I've got, hey, you're not operating in a retail environment. You don't have to keep the doors open between X and Y. It doesn't work that way. This is about producing results each and every day. So one of the things you need to do is change how you approach your day. It's not about time. It's not about office hours. It's about productivity, producing result, period. Okay? So with that said, that's how you want to come into the day. The next thing is you want to control your calendar, and you want to create meeting slots, all right? So a meeting slot could be a slot for a review, a slot for a new prospect, a slot for a COI conversation, right? You want to have X amount, and I'm not going to tell you how many, right? Because everybody's different. I've got clients that can run 8 meetings a day. I've got clients that if they run more than 3, they're wiped out. So I'm not going to sit there and say to you, hey, this is the number. It all depends, right? But I'm going to tell you, figure out your number, right? And make sure it's sustainable. Sustainable. Because if you're, sitting there and it's haphazard, the worst thing you can ever do is go to a client and say, hey, when can you come in? Or when can you schedule? And because you'll just acquiesce it versus saying, hey, we need to do our review. Here are the three or four slots that I have this week or next week, right? And typically next week, the following week. And you control it, or even better yet, you're using a scheduling app like Calendarly or OnceHub where you have predetermined your slots and your clients can go ahead and fill it out. You want to make sure you're realistic. So here's the other caveat. Details matter here. When you look at a day between conversations, meetings, meeting set, prep, tasking, if your mindset is, I need a perfect day to execute all this. So in other words, not only I got to be rocking and rolling by 8 o'clock, I've got to have great energy, never get interrupted, be on task the entire day, I can get everything done. We all know that's not reality. You want to have your world work at what I call about 80%. So on a given day, you always want to have a little cushion, right, for the unexpected. The unexpected client email, the unexpected client phone call, or maybe the unexpected opportunity, maybe a referral or something like that. If you're running red line, two things are happening. Number one, it's burning you out. Number two, it's burning your team out. Okay? You want to run. I mean, it's okay every once in a while. We all get those days where, hey, it's all hands on deck. We're behind. Our client needs something. I understand that. But do not do that as a baseline process each and every day. It will come back to crush you and the team. Okay? Next piece. Make sure you have enough time between your meetings. So maybe you're running 1 hour schedule, maybe you're running a 90-minute schedule, maybe you're doing ultra high net worth and you're running 2 hour blocks. Whatever the blocks are for you, do not have them back to back to back, because that leaves you no time to return emails, phone calls, chat with the team, use the restroom, whatever, right? You never want to feel like you're just jumping from one to one to one to one. You want to have a little mini break, okay? The other piece is I want you to think about your day in really a couple different segments. We already talked about the first segment, which is going to be our morning segment. Second segment is going to be our AM schedule, AM segment, midday break, PM schedule, post day, right? From that perspective. I've always believed marketing/business development in the morning. So what I would not recommend you do is schedule like a 9 o'clock meeting, right? Well, a lot of my clients won't schedule the first meeting until 10, 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning. Why? We want the morning to get our contacts done. And again, when I say contacts, I don't necessarily mean picking up the phone and leaving messages and playing phone tag. You can go ahead and make contacts electronically. Quick story. One of my long-term clients, very successful, runs probably about an $8 million team now. He elephant hunts. And the way he elephant hunts is by email primarily. So he'll email C-suite, managing partners, managing directors, all that. And he's up early. He's one of those early risers. So he gets up about 4:30, does his morning ritual, 5:30. He's literally at his computer marketing, business development, doing, like, think about this, 5:30 a.m. doing contacts. Okay? Here's what happens, not all the time, but some of the times. He'll send a note. Let's say he's talking to a president of a company. So he's connected with them on LinkedIn. Usually you get an email address right there. So we go ahead and we send a note, not through LinkedIn. We do regular email. There's a reason for that. And introducing ourselves, positioning ourselves, resource, stuff like that. And, every once in a while you'll get a return note saying, hey, just take me off your list, right? Take me off your list. So in other words, the person thinks it's some sort of autoresponder or email bot, right? And he loves that because that's like great. No. Hey, I'm really typing you this note. I'm up early. This is what I do. I want to do because I take care of my clients and stuff like that. I work with a lot of C-suite people. That, we go early, and he'll a lot of times we'll get, oh, you know what? Wow, I didn't know that, and it'll engage in a conversation. Point being is he gets his 10 to 15 contacts done before 7:30 a.m. Okay, now that's an extreme case, right? The point I'm making is the earlier in the day you can front load your contacts, the earlier in the day, the more consistent you're going to be getting them done, and depending on your marketplace, the better results you're going to get. Okay? So again, marketing, biz dev in the morning. Make sure you have your slots. Hypothetically, let's say you're going to run a 3-slot process, right? So maybe you'll have 10, 1, and 3. 10, 1, 3, right? Notice I've got a gap. I've got a 3-hour gap, right? 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock, I got a 2-hour gap. And then 3 o'clock to like basically 5 o'clock, I got a 2-hour gap. Why do I have those gaps? For unexpected, right? So 10 happens, I'm done, have lunch, midday break, rock it out at 1 o'clock, right? So on and so forth. If you go back to what we talked about in the last episode, energy matters. So a couple things here, okay? Number one, do not eat heavy when you have a lot to do. So you need a lot of energy to communicate, to lead meetings, things like that. Do not eat heavy carbohydrate-laden meals that want to make you take a nap. Just don't do it. Watch the sugar. Like I literally have watched clients of mine radically change their productivity, which is also code for economic results, by understanding how to manage and increase physical, mental, and emotional energy. They did not go get another designation. They did not learn something new. They learned how to maximize their body and their mind. That's one of the best things you can ever do for yourself, is to make that commitment to go ahead and up the energy flow. You're just going to drive a lot more results. Okay, so we have our scheduling, we have a midday break. Now, we're doing marketing and biz dev early in the morning, right? We have our meetings. Well, what happens, the rest of the time? Administrative, leading the team, stuff like that. So we talk about admin in the afternoon, right? We do administrative stuff in the afternoon. If you're doing it now, if you have somebody to do it for you, maybe you're delegating or having that conversation with, make sure that person gets it done, right? From that perspective. But the bottom line is you always lead with marketing, biz dev. Always. The rest of the stuff will take care of itself, right? Because here's what happens. Let's just kind of play this out for a second. Let's just say you get up, you do a good morning ritual. It wasn't stellar, wasn't Rockstar level, it was good. And then you go ahead and you get into hey, I'm going to make my 10 or 15 contacts. You get some meetings on the calendar via email. So it's early in the morning. It's not even it's not 9 o'clock. It's early, right? You hit your office. And it's just one of those days. We've all had these, right? Where it's just like you're just playing WhackAMole. You're just firefighting. You're being reactive. Stuff's coming at you. Maybe the market's doing something that day. Who knows? And then like 5 o'clock comes or 6 o'clock comes, right? And you're done for the day. And you're like, what did I accomplish today? Except you did accomplish because you did your outbounds. See, this is the difference. If you hold your outbounds to I'll do it late morning, or I'll do it midday, or I'll do whatever, and then the day gets away from you, you're going to leave that game, you're going to leave that day with a big zero. Didn't drive anything. Didn't drive any initiative, nothing. We were inconsistent. Okay? We don't want to do that. So what you need to do is make sure the marketing happens early, and that's the beauty of technology. I know some of you are still creatures of the phone, because that's what you prefer, and I get that. I'm telling you, the phone is becoming the least effective tool that we have for contacts, connections, and so on. Okay? You're playing phone tag. Not what this is about, right? So just be very clear on that. What else do we do inside of our daily game? We also want to make sure that we handle distractions. So how do we handle distractions? The best way I know to handle distractions is, okay, what shows up? Your web browser and your email client. That's going to be 80% of the game, right? So don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. If you need to focus on something, to put everything on Do Not Disturb. Maybe you close Outlook if that's your email client. You just close it. Let me just not minimize it. We'll just look at the ding-dings, but get rid of it for an hour, right? Go on block time. That's why in the morning again, I'm telling you, it's a lot easier to get your contacts done. Like do your morning game, jump right into that. And here's the beauty of this. Some of you say, well, I work out in the morning. Okay, that's fine. So do your contacts, work out in the morning, maybe get to the office like 9 o'clock instead of 8 o'clock, right? But think about that. You show up at 9 o'clock, your daily game plan's locked in, you've made your contacts for the day, like you've already produced massive results and a workout before 9 o'clock local, hypothetically, right? And I've got clients that do that. Like, up early, execute contacts, hit the gym, rolling in 9 o'clock, rock it out. They're out the door by 3, 4 o'clock, right? Nothing wrong with that. It's about producing tangible results, right? So, I mean, there's so many more iterations that I don't want to bore some of you with something here versus here. I'm just saying one last thing. Always have a drop dead end of day. So even if you don't get it all done, like I said, reward yourself. You check a lot of boxes. Hey, you rock started out. You want to get out early. Hey, go reward yourself. Go take your spouse out or go see the kids, whatever, early. Totally cool with that. Never, ever, ever have an open-ended day. So if you're committed to being out there by 4 o'clock, 4 o'clock you walk out the door. How about if I'm not done with stuff, Joe? You get up early the next day, you do it then. 5 o'clock, whatever the timeline is for you, you have a end of day. It's shocking to me when I used to go and to do a lot of corporate training, and I used to sit with advisors, and I say, well, hey, what is your standard to come in the morning? Everybody has one of those. I go, what's your commitment? What's your standard to walk out the door? Nobody has those. So you want to create, and because that way, again, you're going to squeeze your day and be uber productive. And let's think about this. How many times have you been, maybe because of something going on in the family, or you have a vacation coming up, or whatever it is, right? And your brain goes, oh my God, I gotta get all this done, and I gotta be out the door by 4 o'clock today. And isn't it amazing how focused we get? Isn't it amazing how you'll drive it minus 2 hours? So why do we have to overthink this? Why can't we just say, hey, you know what? I'm going to create my game exactly around that. I'm going to have a start point, an end point, reward productivity, excellence. Worst case scenario, I'm here. If I'm overdue, I'll come in early in the morning and I'll get it done. That is the standard you want to keep, okay? So those are some thoughts, again, between last episode and this episode, how to tighten up and have a Rockstar level daily game plan. Like I said, 5 things, right? Morning, contacts, meeting set, intro combos, track it all. 5 things, yeah, from that perspective. One more piece and I'm out of here. We've launched a new program. It's cool. I'm very excited. It's also free, which even makes me more excited. I've taken a couple 100 hours of my best content, my best masterclasses, trading, tools, templates, all that. And it's totally available for you. All you have to do is register. Like there's no gotcha, no gimme, none of that, right? MagellanNetwork.net, you get a free basic membership. You get all these goodies. There's no strings, nothing. My gift to you for the industry, I've had almost 30 years in this game, and I love it. And so here's my way of giving back. Hope it provides you some value in advance. And hopefully one day our paths will cross, maybe at a conference or something like that. So MagellanNetwork.net, go get your free membership to our basic program and a couple 100 hours of content. Okay? Have a great weekend. Thanks for watching or listening to this episode of the Magellan Network Show. Thank you for watching or listening to this episode of the Magellan Network Show. Hey, if any of this resonated with you, I invite you to come to MagellanNetwork.net, and we have a powerful group coaching community of like-minded advisors. Come in for a trial. You and I will have a one-on-one conversation. Let's see if I can help elevate your game both personally and professionally.